Hey, it's Jack from Jack Gately Real Estate and the Online Real Estate Academy. So we have more news from the National Association of Realtors, and we have a second email from them this evening pressuring all of the MLSs to adopt the NAR settlement rules in the Sitzer case. And I did make some notes here, so we'll be glancing down at my notebook from time to time. I think it's very, very important to remember that not all of the MLSs have opted in to the settlement. In fact, I got this as a comment just earlier on my YouTube channel earlier today. They were like, how are you not subject to the settlement? Well, A, I'm not a realtor, and B, my MLS that I subscribe to, MLS PIN, has opted out of, or if you want to say it, chose not to opt in, depending upon how you want to say it, the settlement. So that sets up a large number of MLSs. And I don't know if I've seen a true accounting of how many MLSs this might be, but a significant number of MLSs that have opted out of the settlement, and consequently their rules might be different than what NAR is going to put into place on the MLSs that they own as of October 17th. Now, you might say to yourself, well, that's no big deal, except most MLSs have members, and I would go out on a limb here to suggest that the majority of MLS members are also realtors. So you could be a realtor, be a member of an MLS that opted out of the settlement, and have different rules on your MLS, which might make you as a realtor automatically in violation of the settlement. Oh, right? Uh-oh. Right? Yeah. And if you wanted to comply with the settlement, then because some of the members of the MLS might not be realtors, like me, I might be able to operate under a different set of rules than you. Yeah. That would suck if you're a realtor. I think that's the technical phrase. Let's bring in the email that came from Katie at the National Association of Realtors this evening. Thank you from one of my sources who sent me this evening. Appreciate that. This is the second time we've seen this sentence. I'm going to highlight it here for you. But this time they kind of capitalized it and underlined it. And the meaning is clear. We recommend all MLSs, of which they underlined. In the previous email like this, they did not underline this. And I think they did that for emphasis because they now realize, as I've been actually mentioning for the 3 or 4 weeks now, this potential problem where you're going to have MLSs, as it currently stands at this moment, that are going to have different rules than the NAR settlement. We recommend that all MLSs implement practice changes by August 17th. Realtor MLSs must implement the changes by this date to remain in compliance with NAR policy. So they're kind of leaning on the opting out MLSs to get on board with the Sitzer rules, whether you opted into the settlement or not. I think it's Northwest MLS. I think it's Northwest MLS that's probably taking the most, how do I want to say this, radical position on this, where they're basically, I think I've called this the FUDOJ strategy. They're basically just, they're almost pretending as if the whole court case didn't happen and the verdict didn't happen. Yeah, like totally in denial. Here in Massachusetts, and I don't want to really make this a Massachusetts video because I think this implication is across the country, but here in Massachusetts, we basically have door number one is the settlement rules as they exist with MLS PIN right now, today, July 10th, where there will be cooperation commission on, or there will be offers of commission, I should say, on the MLS come August 17th. Let me say that again. Under the new MLS PIN rules, there will be offers of compensation on the MLS come August 17th. Those offers of compensation will be from the seller, not the list agency, but nonetheless, they'll still be able to post that on the MLS. You'll be able to post, in fact, you can do this now. You'll be able to post a commission as low as $0, and there'll be no requirement for buyer agency agreements. Those are the upcoming rules from MLS PIN. Notice how much different they are than the NAR settlement. In the NAR settlement, offers of cooperating commission have to be off MLS. So just literally, if you're a Realtor member, literally being an MLS PIN member as of August 17th you might violate the settlement just literally by being an MLS PIN member as of August 17th. And they're going to require buyer agency agreements come August 17th. Now, as I said in a different video, I'm not sure if MLS PIN can require its non-Realtor members to enter into buyer agency agreements. I don't know about that, nor do I know how non-Realtor members might react to an attempt at some type of mandate like that. There could be a significant kickback to that, right? I don't know the numbers, but I'm guessing like a third of MLS PIN membership is not guilty of the vast conspiracy. And I'm just guessing about 2/3 of the membership are realtors who are guilty. So I hate the phrase realtor and non-realtor. Yeah, how about guilty and not guilty? I like that better. So this very well might exist in other parts of the country. And again, if you look at this statement from NAR, which just came out again this evening, hello all, ahead of the August 17th implementation of NAR's practice, we wanted to provide a few reminders that are required to obtain a release of liability and protect your organization from claims related to broker commissions. And this is from Katie, which you're supposed to know who Katie is. I'm pretty sure she's the chief legal over there at NAR. Yeah, they're doing a great job. Right. It's 5 weeks away. It's 5 weeks away. And here in Massachusetts, we have no guidance, no new forms, bupkis. And I believe there are several other MLSs. And MLS PIN is a significant, I don't remember the number of agents that it has off the top of my head. It's a significant MLS. It includes all of Boston, and basically Massachusetts is like 7 million people. Then they actually operate, I think, in multiple other states as well. But Massachusetts is kind of the home base for MLS PIN. And I think there's multiple other MLSs that also opted out that are now, if you get this email, you know that behind the scenes, NAR is exerting pressure, whether that's phone calls or whatever, to comply. Now, let me just throw this. Where's my wrench? Here it is here. Let me just throw this wrench into the thing. It is NAR's message here that we recommend all MLSs to implement practice changes. Is that in itself some type of antitrust violation? This podcast today, excellent job, Rob Hahn and Greg Robertson. And they had a guest on who said, and I've heard this elsewhere, but it's probably best elucidated on this podcast today, and I recommend it. It was a good listen. that the fact that, how do I want to say this? That competitors together and write the forms together can be, in and of itself, an antitrust violation. Now, the guy that they had on from the consumer something of real estate or whatever, Mr. Miller, I believe his name was, he was a little passive aggressive. And because they kind of was pushing him like, well, where's your form? And he's like, well, we don't have the resources to do that. So, I mean, there are people out there that it just simply criticize. And then when it comes time to actually come up with a solution, they're like, oh, we can't do that. Yeah, so he was kind of in that category. But understand, if you're in an opt-out MLS, don't be surprised if all of a sudden out of the blue, you get some email with some new rules. I think that we're realizing that as a member or subscriber to an MLS, and I think the folks out in Colorado have really learned this the hard way, you're effectively powerless, or they want you to be powerless. So out in Colorado, they're selling their MLS. We might cover that in a different video, but they're selling the MLS and some of the members aren't happy. And it comes to the fact that effectively, unless you're really well organized, you don't have a lot of power as a subscriber / member, right? They say you're a member, but not really. You're more like a subscriber. Yeah, and if you give them any trouble, maybe you won't be a subscriber anymore either. I don't know. All right, so let's keep an eye on this as NAR continues to pressure the opt-out MLSs to comply with the Sitzer verdict. We do have some comments here. Let's take a look. Creative Frugal Fun. Hey, Jack, thanks for doing this and keeping us up to date. My pleasure. I'm very glad to do it. A lot of fun. Kumar, so excited to be on live here for the first time. Hey, thanks, Kumar. Good to have you. I think he's from Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Love the thorough guess. You're too smart to yeah. I'm working on it. One of you did not receive the NAR email. It was sent out tonight at about I think 7:39 is the timestamp for, maybe they go out in tranches or something. I don't know. You might probably get it soon. Maybe you're on the West Coast. I don't know. I want to be a non-realtor, but not an option here in Utah if you want MLS and keybox access. Oh, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So here in Massachusetts, as you may have inferred, the MLS PIN is not owned by the Realtor Association. So as a consequence, I don't have to be a realtor to be an MLS PIN member. But I'm really glad that you mentioned this other thing, which is keybox access. And I totally am, how do I want to say this, suspicious of this whole thing that you can't show properties in some markets unless, is it Supra? Is that the name of the company? Unless you're a Supra member. Right? And we don't have that in Massachusetts. We have Supra as a product, but it's not mandated. And most people actually just use the regular lockbox that you can buy at Home Depot. Some of which are better than others, right? But in some markets, you can't even show properties unless you're a Supra member. And you can't do that unless you're an MLS member. And you can't do that unless you're real. It's like it's all tied in together. It's almost as if they're doing what they can constantly tell you what you can't do. What do they tell you? When you go to realtor orientation, they say you can't tie two transactions together. You can't tell the seller, hey, we're going to give you a break on the list price here if you also hire us to help you buy your next house. You can't connect those two things. That's a no-no. Right? They drill that home to you. That's an antitrust violation. But they can require your membership in the Realtor Association in order to get MLS and in order to get lockbox in some markets. That's fine for some reason. In fact, there had been a number of court cases back, 20-something years ago, and it seemed to be like a crusade by like one lawyer, and he did win. I think in the Florida district he won, in which case you don't have to be, yeah. But in most of the other districts he lost. So I think, yeah, we're coming around to that. I'm really glad that you mentioned that comment. Thank you so much. Let's see. We have another comment here. Oops, sorry about that. It disappeared. Consumer Federation America was great. He had the seller's brokerage compensating the buyer's broker essentially as a bribe. He said it was much better, but I don't think those folks were from the Consumer Federation of America. I think they were from like a CAARE, Consumer Association of Real Estate Consumers, or something like that. So forgive me for not having the exact name. I apologize for not having the exact. But go check. You can check out that podcast that dropped today, Industry Relations. All right. NAR continues to pressure the non-opt-in MLSs. We'll keep you posted. By the way, we have a new article coming out on Gately Estate tomorrow morning about a new business model that you might want to consider. Until then, go make some money. Have a great day. Bye-bye.